Yeah, this movie is bad. Really, really bad. Now, I want to really be honest with you. Going into watching this film, I really wanted to go into this with an open mind and actually see what this movie was like. I know a lot of people were, you know, canning this movie online and just saying just how awful it is. Just the reviews from the critics and everything just were very low at this point. So I really, for going into this movie, I wanted to go with an open mind just to see whether the critics were right and everything was true about this film. And I can safely say, coming back from this movie, it is. Now, obviously, I'm going to be talking about the new Joker film called Joker Folie Deux. And yeah, it was awful. I really don't understand how on earth this is meant to be a sequel of a movie that was already well received and well appreciated by fans that actually wanted the Joker film how it was. And how they call this a sequel is beyond me. Like, this is not a sequel at all, or a movie that really follows up really from the first movie well. It's just an absolute mess of a movie. So I'm going to really lay off my biggest problems with the new Joker film. And the biggest problem with the Joker film is the musical. Now, I know going into this movie was intended to be a musical. Like, everyone knew about it. It was going to be that. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not really a massive fan of musical films myself. I mean, I always like to see how they could, approach it and, take the concept on when it comes to certain films. And some of it does work really, really well. But I was pretty worried when they were going to do it for Joker, because obviously the first Joker film was built up with a lot of dark comedy, dark humor, and dark twists that were meant to go on throughout the first movie. So when it came to the new Joker film, adding elements of it being a musical, I just wanted to know how that was going to work. And I'm going to say this, the musical aspects of it is actually not bad in any sense. I actually think some of it is actually good for what it is. But the way they integrate it into this film is terrible. So the aspect of the new Joker film is this. So you have aspects where it's a musical, but then you also have the aspects of it being a courtroom film. So obviously, if you remember from the first Joker film, Arthur Fleck gets incarcerated in Arkham State Hospital. That's where it now starts with the new movie, and he's potentially going to be facing trial, which potentially could mean that he faces the death penalty. And he has a lawyer trying to sort of protect his case and everything as well. And he also stumbles across Harley Quinn as well, played by Lady Gaga. So that's kind of where this film is. The aspects of it is a courtroom with a musical, and the way they integrate them together is really bad. It's just there's no chemistry or fusion between how the sequence of this film works between the two, and I really don't think they really had an idea of what the identity of this film was, or the perspective of it was going to give. It really just didn't add anything, and you could literally subtract all the musical elements of this film, and it will not make a difference, honestly. Adding the musical elements in was just a padded time just to be completely bored. It was just completely useless throughout the whole film, and just made nothing of any progression to the story, the narrative, the characters, anything. But yeah, apart from the musical elements, which was just jarring to watch and just not really progressing the movie, in general, this movie just has no real moments that you could really take from it. Like, it's just a very flatline, boring film. And that's just how it is. I mean, there's no real moments that you could look at this film and thinking that I really like this scene, I like this moment, I like this aspect of what this film did compared to the first movie. Like, nothing is there at all. Like, the first movie had lots of dark twists, dark plot lines, and really dark humor as well. All of that was completely forgotten about in this new film. Like, everything was just not even there to actually take with any sort of praise from the first movie to this one. Like, nothing. So I really think everything that this film had just had nothing really that connected very well from the first movie to this one at all. Like, the only really thing that they do with this film is that they connect, like, at least aspects of the plot that they continued on. But it doesn't really feel like a continuation, because they changed the whole theme of this movie completely, and really jarring, boring, padded scenes with musical to courtrooms into, the whole integrating that together was just a complete mess. It really was. And I really probably yawned about 20 times throughout the whole film, which usually, like with movies, even with the worst movies I've seen, I pretty much would not do. Like, it was really just so hard to sit through. And I really think, like, probably reaching, like, the 8th, 9th musical, I couldn't really recall because there was too many musicals in this, scenes in this movie. It was just too much for me. And I probably would have at least witnessed, like, a few people walking out anyway, like, even if that really mattered. But I just really felt at this point that my time was just completely wasted. But anyways, let's be more objective with this film. Was there actually anything that I did see as a positive? So I think Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga were actually the good aspects of this film. I think parts of their chemistry were actually good in some scenes, if you really want to add the musical elements in, I guess. But there were, like, some moments that they actually showed some good on-screen chemistry, and they really tried hard with the script they were given. I do think the script and the writing was really poor, how they kind of integrate their chemistry in together and how their stories came together throughout the film. I don't think that was good at all, and I think that's more or less a criticism for really the writing from this movie. But I think from what they were given with the scripts and everything, I think they actually did a good job at least trying to carry the movie in some way. And there were, like, some good visual scenes and some good cinematography throughout the film as well. I do like some of the aspects of, like, how they shoot the musical scenes in a way, as well as trying to get some aspects of the courtroom scenes in for Arthur Fleck's trial. So I do think there are, like, some considerations of some positives you can take. But really, those are just far few from really the overwhelming negatives I have. It's actually really disappointing that I had to really talk about it in this sort of way, because I really liked the first Joker film for what it really did, as trying to put a different sort of twist on, like, a psychological thriller type film, not really trying to make it like a superhero movie. And I think they did such a great job with the first movie, with just the writing, the cinematography, the pacing, everything. But now you have this sequel, it just doesn't really match up at all. It's just really, really poor in comparison. So overall, if I had to rate Joker, Folie, Deux, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 3 out of 10. It's just a very disappointing film, very disappointing sequel. And even if this was like a movie on its own and it wasn't like a sequel from the first Joker film, it's just not a great film to sit through. It's really, really poor. But yeah, it does sound like I'm ranting about this movie. It's a real shame that I have to, because I really wanted to see, like, if there was anything redeemable, like, from what the critics and the reviews were saying about this movie. But unfortunately, they were proven right with this film. It's just not good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Joker, Folie, Deux. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Dislike if you want to dislike. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.